Hi guys, in this video I will be describing the two-way table mini project that you're going to be doing this next week. You can do this lots of different ways. It's not super difficult, but it is very applicable. So the first thing you're going to want to do is find some data that you can easily create a table from. Um, Pick something that you're interested in, certainly, but also pick something that you can find data that you know makes sense to you. Data can become very overwhelming very quickly. So even though I'm not really much of a political person, I selected the CNN exit poll data from the 2016 presidential election, partly because there was so much data given that was really clean to read, and partly because I think polling data can be really interesting. Um, there's everything on here, like your opinion of the candidates, to do they have a good temperament, do whether or not the fact um, that Clinton used the private email, does that bother you? To things that are just simple and easy to analyze, like the data I looked at, which was gender. So they told me that 2,812 of the respondents, the people they interviewed after voting, 48% of those were male, and of that 48%, 41% voted for Clinton. And then 52% of those people that they talked to after voting were female, and of those 52%, 53% of them voted for Clinton. So I took that data, I went into Sheets, and I just made a simple table. You could do a table in Docs, that's fine too, however you want to make a table. Um, and then I made sure to give it a title that made sense, and then I put the link to where I found the data from. If your data has issues, this link is going to be helpful to me to help you correct any errors you may have made. So looking at this table, you want to create one statement, at least one statement that's a joint distribution statement, at least one statement that's a marginal distribution statement, and at least one statement that's a conditional distribution statement. So obviously a couple will be, you'll have a few of them. Otherwise you won't get 5 statements. So let's think about a simple statement we could make. Looking at this data, you could look at the raw data in the frequency table or the percentage data in the relative frequency table. I'm just going to look at a simple one. For instance, 25.44% of those polled were males who voted for. Okay, that's a clean, simple one. You could say 2.6% of polled were females who voted for someone else, so who voted independent, or preferred not to answer. Some people don't want to answer the pollsters. They want to go home. You could also look at other data. You could look at data that's more marginal or conditional. Things like you could say, well, this might be easier actually. Look at the frequency table. You could say 775 of that 2,812, or we'll go somewhere else. We'll go this. 614. 614 12 polled. Look at there. More females who voted for President Trump. You could also look other places. Like you could just say out of everyone we polled, and this is the most common thing to see in an election, you could say something like 5.48% of those polled, and this is just in Michigan, polled, voted independent or didn't give an answer. None of these statements, I hope you can see, are fancy or mathy. They're just clear statements that almost anyone should be able to understand. So that's what I'm hoping that you're able to do in this assignment. I hope it's something that's applicable for you. It shouldn't be super difficult. Like I said, pick something that you care about. Um, Maybe it's not politics. Maybe it's anything but politics right now. Maybe it's sports. Um, Maybe it's an activity you're interested in. If you need some suggestions, feel free to message me and I'd be happy to answer your questions. Or you could ask me at the Zoom meeting on Tuesday. We can talk about this more